What's up, everybody? Today we are in this 2026 Dodge Durango GT. This is a V6 model straight out of a rental car place. I actually needed it because I was buying a kitchen table in Georgia, and I was like, oh crap, the Mach-E won't work, it's just too small. So I was able to squeeze the kitchen table into this Dodge Durango. Anyway, while I had it, I was like, why not just do a review? Why not just do a driving video and we can talk about my experience with the GT, with the V6, because I have not driven one yet. So of course we have all-wheel drive, an 8-speed automatic. We got some nice paddle shifters on our leather-wrapped wheel here. Before we get out on the road, let's just do a quick walk around, show you those back seats and whatnot. So it's not much different than previous models. Of course, this generation has been around for a while. We have our, nice daytime running lights here. Of course, the GT with the V6 doesn't get the nice hood scoops, which I'm kind of upset about because that gives it a lot better of a look. We still have these 5 multi-spoke 20-inch rims, which look pretty nice. Overall, a pretty good spec, even though it's a rental car spec. I do like this white color, and we have LED headlights and tail lights, which look pretty nice. In the trunk here, you can open it via a button on that little handle there. Of course, I have my third row seats down right now because I was using that earlier, but we have a 12 volt on this side, just some cubby storage on this side. Under here, more storage. And then this button which closes that hatch. As far as our second row, we have plenty of space. Back here we just have vents. We have the ability to control climate up on this one here. And I mean, overall it's a pretty nice space to be. I will say if you have more than 5 people, that third row is really gonna eat into that trunk space. So if you have like 7 people total in your immediate family, maybe opt for like a Ford Expedition, maybe even get a Sprinter van. I think that would be the move. But so Dodge's third row is still a fairly compelling vehicle for $41,000 starting with all-wheel drive and the V6. I mean, it really has its work cut out for it, competing with the Telluride and of course the Hyundai Palisade, which is, the sister to the Telluride. I think those vehicles are catching the market right now, and I think Dodge really does need to do a redesign at this point to catch up. But one thing I think Dodge has done really well with these Durangos is behind the wheel presence. We have red leather stitching, we have this gorgeous D-shaped wheel, paddle shifters which feel nice, this large infotainment screen. We have the ability to do either analog or digital speedometer. Just overall a very nice place to be. And so we'll kick this thing into sport mode. We already have eco off. The one thing I've been dealing with is auto start stop, which has been kind of annoying. I haven't figured out a way to just kind of keep it off. There's no physical button. Oh, actually, I just found it right here, auto start stop. Well, there we go. We found it together, guys. But let's kick this thing into manual mode. Really see what this Dodge Durango GT can do. The paddle shifters, I will say, are just the tops. We don't have bottoms. It's not a full lever there. And it's kind of unfortunate. That is the volume and the skip track buttons. So I understand why they are there. I just think they cut into our driving experience a little bit today. Honestly though, using the paddles, it doesn't even feel like I'm really doing it. They're not very responsive. They take quite a while to, turn into gear. Like, you're gonna do a downshift here. Takes about a half second, right? A little unfortunate, but at least you have them. At least you have the ability to control your gears, unlike a lot of cars nowadays. And so one thing I've noticed with the Dodge Durango over the course of driving it about 300, maybe 400 miles today is it's just very softly sprung. It's quiet. It's very comfortable. with the exception of this driver's seat. The driver's seat is just awful. I haven't been able to find a good position in it, and to be honest, I'm not sure if it's just because it's the base model seats, or even though this thing only has 10,000 miles on it, maybe someone has already ruined it with their big bottom. Could totally be the case. It could be a morphed seat from, just being a rental car. That definitely happens. So some comfort features in here. We have heated seats, we have a heated steering wheel, we have dual climate here up in the front, our third climate zone in the back. Just plenty of options, even though this is a base model. Really does make you feel like you're in a more expensive vehicle. Aside from the seats are just like this like textured cloth, and they don't feel well. They kind of like get really hot. And that is my largest critique today about this Dodge Durango. And I mean, you could fix that by just spending more money, right? You could also fix the fact that you have a V6 under the hood instead of a V8. You could just spend more money. And to get the V8, it's about $4,000 US more, so it's not that bad. I'll tell you what though, I still think the exhaust note on this V6 sounds pretty good. I'm genuinely impressed with it, but I think the lack of engagement in the paddles really does kind of dampen the driving experience here. So don't get me wrong when I say this, but this interior is very good looking. The one critique I have with it is just this like textured plastic on the top of the dashboard. It's just not very appealing to look at. I think they could go with like more of a gradient texture, and that would solve all their problems. So you really can get all of the gear. If you prompt it to downshift, it'll wait till you have just that very top of the RPMs as far as room goes on that tachometer, and then it'll give you the gear. And then you're just right back into upshifting again. It's kind of funny. But enough out of manual mode for now. I think, this thing is a pretty agile vehicle for the size. The steering is still a little light for me. I feel like that a lot has to do with the suspension tuning. This guy is literally on the other side of the road. Dude. All right, PSA. I've had a lot of recordings recently where people have been on the opposite side of the road or cutting in front of me without looking, like just pulling out in front of me. And I have to say, I've also gotten hit at a red light, right? The light turned green for me. It was like 6 seconds in between that and like their light turning red. They ran the red light, T-boned me in a car that I was reviewing. I didn't make this public before, and I'm still not going to show people the video. I have it on video. But needless to say, I think that people need to pay attention when they drive. They need to stop drinking and driving, and they just really need to just practice safe driving. If they don't care about their own lives, fine, but care about mine, care about the people around you, please. Thank you. Or stop driving. Either or. So 0 to 60 comes in 7.2 seconds for this V6 all-wheel drive variant. And, this thing is a lot of weight to move, so I completely understand for the lack of, a solid 0 to 60 time. I mean, that's fairly slow for modern standards. But you have to ask yourself when you're shopping for a Durango, what are your priorities, right? Do you want something that you can, practice a 0 to 60 test with your kids every morning on the way to school, which does sound super fun, but you're also going to get worse gas mileage. Today, I averaged 22 miles per gallon going at a nice pace on the highway, and it was fine. It was great. That's pretty decent fuel economy for a vehicle this size. And considering today's gas prices, that's definitely something you have to keep in mind. Me personally, I would still opt for the V8 model. But I would also buy the Hellcat one. Like, that's just, my priorities are fun, right? I like to enjoy time behind the wheel. It is one of my favorite things to do, if not my most favorite, is driving. And I think that a Hellcat Durango is right up my alley. And with that being said, I would still opt for one of those, but this V6 variant has plenty of power, right? We have, just under 300 horsepower and 300 pound-feet of torque, so it's not too bad. We have a nice exhaust note. We have plenty of interior options, such as, heated seats, dual climate, Apple CarPlay, which hooks up wirelessly, and nice paddle shifters, and this lovely leather-wrapped steering wheel. The GT V6 model with, MSRP of $41,000 is pretty good. And my GoPro died on me. That's what I get for recording in 60 FPS. But needless to say, I think the V6 model is a great vehicle to choose. It's not my personal preference. I like the V8 models, and for $4,000 more, you can get one. With that being said, the Dodge Durango is still one of my favorite 3-rows on sale today, and it's worth a strong consideration, even with the Telluride and the Palisade getting redesigns and looking absolutely fantastic. I still think I would be on that Dodge lot looking at a Durango in comparison with that Telluride, with that Palisade, unless you need a larger vehicle such as like a Ford Expedition, or like I said before, like a Sprinter van, which would be pretty cool. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I'm very thankful that guy eventually moved back to the other side of the road. And yeah, I will see you next time. Please don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks, guys. Bye.